Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood reviewer with inToit Reviews. At the beginning of 2020, let's talk about the new kid on the block, which might be the very best value in audio right now. This is the Jade Audio EA3. So let's get into it. So let's begin by talking about the company itself. Jade Audio is a sub-brand of FiiO, and this IEM appears to be a sister product to its predecessor, the FiiO FH1, which also consisted of a Knowles balanced armature handling the mids and treble frequencies, and a dynamic driver handling the lower registry. Unlike the FiiO FH1, which was knocked for being somewhat bass-light, the Jade Audio EA3 is anything but. Instead, the EA3 has a perfect blending of mid-bass and sub-bass. The bass is generally quick and punchy and definitely present with the included silicone tip options. I found that the small bore tips were more relaxed, somewhat veiled, and displayed worse driver integration and coherence. With specific regard to the bass, I found that it was less articulate, more diffuse, and somewhat woolly with those tips. The included red board tips, which were wider board silicones, resulted in enhanced integration and coherence that not only displayed the full capabilities of the Knowles driver, but also tightened up the bass response. While the mids and the treble presented intense at times, I never found the high end to be sibilant, harsh, or overly bright in this configuration. After much experimentation with a variety of aftermarket tips, I found that the true wireless foams from Dakota Audio offered the best fit combination with the most integrated sound, the greatest driver coherence, and the smoothest overall presentation, which included the most balanced, clear, and natural low end for this set. These are perhaps not as coherent as higher priced units or other IEMs consisting of multiple balanced armatures for the mid-range and the treble, say something like the KZ ZSX. But the sound of the EA3 is rather natural and somewhat warm for a balanced armature overall. Staging is not super wide, but it is more expansive than average and articulate with regard to spatiality. Staging is larger than the ZSX, but slightly more narrow than the blonde BL03, so staging overall is surprisingly good. On the contrary, separation is just okay. There isn't really any smearing going on here, but differentiation between instrumentals isn't overly distinct, and there is a limited spacing between instruments across the auditory plane. Imaging is on point, but centered vocals and upfront instruments can be somewhat overly intense at times and present as closer to your face than the rest of the mix on certain tracks. Clarity is exceptional, especially for the price, and distinctively, clarity is not sacrificed despite this set's smooth overall sound signature. Instead, transparency is maintained. In particular, clarity in the mids and treble is stellar, which again are both handled by the single Knowles balanced armature. In terms of aesthetics, I purchased the blue variety, which I think is particularly striking. The set is also available in a more understated black, but no matter which color you select, there is a Jade Audio logo written on the faceplate of each IEM, which is composed of multiple layers of celluloid plastic superimposed upon one another. Jade Audio claims this results in a unique marbled pattern for each unit. There's also what appears to be a twisted 4-core silver-plated copper cable and a zipper-sealed gray canvas carry pouch included in the box as well. The pouch is nice, but it's a little on the small side. The cable itself is also smaller than average and somewhat thin, but it is high quality for this price point nonetheless. Furthermore, and perhaps more importantly, the cable remains free from kinks and memory with use. Overall, the cable is lightweight and perfect for portable carry. There is a plastic wrap around the preformed ear hooks that is somewhat aggressively stiff in comparison to the rest of the cable, but ultimately I did not experience any issues with regard to fit when worn. There are also right and left indicators at the 2-pin connectors, which are made easily visible by red and blue strips at the base of the connecting joints. The 3.5mm connector at the termination of the cable is also smaller than most, both in its thickness and its length. This is a nice consideration by Jade Audio if one is considering use of this set with a smartphone, as the connector's small footprint matches the jack of most modern, thinner smartphones. By the way, the EA3 is easily powered by a smartphone. Like the rest of this set, the chin slider is also well done. I applaud the way that it integrates seamlessly into the cable itself. Jade Audio appears to have put a lot of thought into this set, and it shows both with regard to form and function. Overall, the EA3 is a winner. It is a clear, revealing yet smooth set that has a variable amount of low end depending on the tips that you select. Nevertheless, the bass is punchy, satisfying, and mostly articulate with a good blending of accentuated sub-bass and mid-bass propelled by its dynamic driver. Ultimately, I enjoyed the Dakoni True Wireless tips the most, and also recommend these for accuracy, as the bass might be seen by some as potentially heavy-handed on certain tracks with the provided tips that come with this set in the box. Others still might prefer the included breadboard tips and find them perfectly sufficient. Given the quality of the tips, the carry case, and the cable, all of which are included with the EA3, cumulatively, these are an incredible value for the money, not only from an accessory perspective, but also from a sonic one as well. The fact that Jade Audio is able to include a Knowles balanced armature at this price point is truly astounding. In terms of price to performance, these are now the price to performance champs in my book, topping the blonde BL03 that other reviewers have pushed forward. Sonically, the EA3 is more capable, revealing, and has a better accessory package. Ultimately, it will most likely cost you less in the end, especially after you consider replacing the blonde's hellacious cable and tips that are provided with that set. As a budget IM, the Jade Audio EA3 gets my highest recommendation. If I was giving an all-inclusive set to a friend as a gift, this would be the set that I would give them. Speaking of gifts, I am giving away a set of COS KSC 75s at the 500 subscriber mark. All you have to do to be considered for the giveaway is be subscribed to this channel. So make sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends, and with that, I'm out.